Hey everybody, welcome to African Ancestry's Facebook Live. I'm Gina Page, president and co-founder of African Ancestry, and I really didn't want to do it. Oh, we were supposed to play the music. Oh well. I didn't want to do it by myself today, so I encouraged
yes, she did.
my team to join me for this Facebook Live for frequently asked questions. Yay. So if you all have questions that we haven't if you have questions, type them up in the box and we will answer them. So it's May, and last week we restarted our broadcast. I was outside. I wanted to be outside today, but there's a whole bunch of lawnmowers and weed whackers and construction. It's horrible. Hey there, I don't have my glasses on. Hey there, thanks for joining. Who is that? Can you see who that is? Julie, Keisha, thanks you guys for joining. And so we're going to get back to regular Facebook Live broadcasts, and you're going to see more of these women. So this is Kelly.
Hi.
Kelly Bowman. She manages all of our customer service. So when you call, there's a good chance that Kelly is the one you're talking to. And I get all kinds of compliments about Kelly. Kelly, a lot of guys call and they don't want to talk to any of us. They only want to talk to Kelly.
True.
But anywho, and then this is Simone Jones. You all have seen Simone before. She got her ancestry revealed last year on our Facebook Live. And Simone's our resident on the cusp millennial and data nerd, and she manages all of our data analytics. So she's the one, when you call and ask about your results, she's the one who is responsible for getting those out. And then, of course, there's Ty, our Uber producer. She's managing the Be Live broadcast in the background. And Ty does a lot of things. She's the second person who you get. If Kelly was on the phone, you're going to talk to Ty. And of course, you know her from our Facebook Live. She does graphics for us. Those of you who've had European results and have called with angst, Ty is probably the person that you spoke to forever and ever and ever about how you are still African American, and we all have European ancestry. So this is my team. There are a couple people who aren't here. Cynthia, she might show her face once she figures out we're going live. And then our science team is in California, Dr. Kittles and Dr. Hooker. And then we also have Kofi. We got to shout out Kofi.
Hey, Kofi.
Kofi is the man. Kofi makes our lives much easier. So we're African Ancestry.
And Dr. Page, because he does so much.
Oh yeah, our safety manager.
Yes.
We have a safety manager, Jerome Page. So anyway, we're here to answer your questions about African ancestry. So for those of you who don't know, this is an African ancestry test kit. We are the pioneers of genetic ancestry tracing for Black people around the world. I, in fact, was helping because we have a huge batch of results that went out yesterday or this morning. Yeah, that went out this morning. Over 200 people, or around 200 people, are going to find out their roots any day now. And so I was helping with that process, and it just struck me how we have people taking this test from all over the world. We had a woman who's in Togo. You all know where Togo is, right? It's in West Africa. Shout out to Beatrice. Your results are coming FedEx, Beatrice. That's something to talk about too, the FedEx orders. We had somebody, what was the other one, in the UK, Australia, France,
Canada.
Not to mention New Hampshire, California. I feel like every state, maybe not Montana. No,
maybe not Idaho.
We got a Montana.
Not this batch, but one time.
We have.
Yeah.
So maybe every state then, if we got Montana. Wow. There's Black folks in Montana, y'all. So this is a test. We have two tests. One test traces maternal ancestry, mother to mother to mother to mother. The other test traces paternal ancestry, father to father to father to father. We are not like other companies. We are different. First of all, we're Black owned, okay? Second of all, we are the pioneers of using this technology. So we're celebrating our 15th anniversary. Congratulations, you all.
Congratulations.
This is our test kit. Inside the test kit, there's a brochure. It has instructions. We encourage everybody to read the instructions. Reading is legal now. We can all read the instructions. Inside, it explains the test that we offer. This is our terms and conditions, our legally binding contract with you that we don't sell, share, or research your personal or genetic information. I know that that's a big concern of people generally, but even more so now with what we've seen in the news and in the media. And our lab destroys your DNA. We don't keep your DNA. We don't want your DNA. It's yours. Our test includes swabs. So you just swab the inside of your cheek to collect the DNA. It's really easy, you know. You send these back to us, and everything is barcoded. So this is how we maintain your confidentiality. You can't, when we send these to the lab with your swabs, people don't know who you are. They don't know your names or addresses or anything like that. Then you fill out this specimen information card so that we have your name in the office. And really, we don't care what name you put on here. This is the name that's going to go on your letter and your results. It's just for us to have something to send back to you. So if you're even more concerned about your confidentiality beyond what we're doing with the barcodes, just put a different name. No one's going to know. And then we include a postage paid envelope for you to send these things back to us. And when we get them, they go to Simone. Simone and her helpers enter all the data and get your process going. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks for you to get your results. And so Simone, what's a commonly asked question that you get surrounding the results?
Can I get my results early?
Can I get my results early?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's that answer?
No. You can't.
Why not? Why not?
Well, you know, sometimes things aren't as planned, or we can't dictate what the lab does, or if it requires a recollection. We can't dictate Dr. Kittle's schedule. Our 6 to 8 week time is a conservative quote, but you know, things happen. We have to allow 2 weeks for every part of the process. So getting the swabs in and getting it entered into the system, then it going through the lab and unlocking the sequence, and then allowing Dr. Kittle to have some time to do the analysis. And then we get it back and we have to proof it, make sure all the information is correct, get it prepared, and get it sent out. So
takes time.
It takes time.
But now there are special instances, right? Like there's someone who's waiting for her results now for her mother's birthday. Do you try to get them out early?
Yeah. If you let us know that you need them early, or as soon as we have them in hand, you know, you need them, we can do that. We can do priority mail or FedEx, or we can pull them out of a batch because we work in batches.
Okay. So we're not just cruel and heartless and 6 to 8 weeks. And that's an estimate, you all. So some people have been waiting for their results for 8 weeks and 2 days, or 8 weeks and 4 or 5 days. We do our best, and we are getting the results out as quickly as we can. But when we know that there are special occasions, like a 100th birthday or something like that, then we do our best.
So my no is no in general, but you know, we don't want to set people up to think that they can automatically get them back, because you never know what will happen. And you know, we do have special occasions we want to accommodate, but
all right.
I have a question from our listeners. This is from Solomon. It says, "Hi Gina, thanks for having this forum. I work with people in Boston who have taken your test. At Afro-American One welcomes the African diaspora home to Africa. At a recent workshop we had, it was revealed that some that there were some emotional issues faced by those who learned their ethnicities. What are the most common emotional issues faced by those who take your test?
Okay. Well, you know, I think I would say emotional reactions. They can't see us. Hi there, we're back. I would call them emotional reactions and not issues. And we see a variety of them, and you all can chime in. A lot of people are overwhelmed, shocked. I mean, it's this information, this knowledge that they never had before, and now they got the answer they've been waiting a lifetime for, or at least 6 weeks for, and now what? I think that people are in that overwhelmingness. Sometimes people cry. You know, they can't talk. It brings tears to their eyes, or they get chills. It really depends on what the results are. It happens when somebody thinks that they're going to be a certain ancestry, and then it comes back. Yeah, that can be impactful. So, and then there are those people whose results don't come back African, and I would call those emotional issues. Ooh, yeah. And you know, the thing to remember when the results don't come back African, and Ty's going to elaborate on this, but the thing to remember is that it doesn't mean that you don't have any African ancestry. If you think of yourself as a part of a family tree and you're the base, you have 2 parents, you have 4 grandparents, you have 8 great-grandparents, and it keeps going. So when you go to a family reunion, for example, you're usually looking at 1 or 2 of those grandparents. You're not looking at the whole tree. Right. Well, our test is like that. We're looking at one branch of the tree, not the whole tree. Right. So my mother's father's line is Portuguese. That doesn't mean I'm not Black. Right? Sure. I've done 6 other tests that have all come back African. So, but in that moment, when you are seeking and you've taken a test called African Ancestry, and you want to know where in Africa you come from, when those results aren't African, it can have an impact. Now, Ty, will you please share with our viewers what it means technically when a result comes back African? What do the results look like? Do you know you have on 2 pairs? I just looked at it and realized it.
Okay. And it's been that way for the last. These are my readers, and these are my cool stutters. Okay. So normally when someone's test comes back and it's non-African, so if it's mtDNA, which is our Master Clan test, it comes back as a haplogroup and a distinction of what the haplogroup is. So when someone calls and they're disappointed or sometimes in hysteria, you know, first thing I is remind them that in history, we are mixed people. And although at some point everyone goes back to Africa, the time period that African Ancestry does its testing, which is 500 to 2,000 years ago, that was what was happening with their particular ancestor. So on the mtDNA side, I normally take them through what a possible migration looks like from their ancestor group. So we know that haplogroup L is the African haplogroup for mitochondrial DNA. So I normally step them back to say, hey, this is what might possibly have been the migration route for your family. On the Y chromosome side, we get a nice number of Spain, Portugal results. So the first thing I do is I look to history. And that's what I would tell anybody who gets a non-African result. Because a lot of people look at skin color. And I don't know how many times Gina has said it on her broadcast that skin color does not determine genetic ancestry history, but people look at skin color and it's like, he's as dark as this. Well, Dr. Kittle's is as dark as Wesley Snipes. His is German. So that's the one thing I say. The guy who invented this, his is not African either. So if anybody wanted it to be African, it was him. The second thing I will remind the gentleman is that the Spanish and Portuguese were very heavily involved in the transition of human cargo. So it's not uncommon to get that kind of result. And we all know historically what was happening.
The transition of human cargo translates.
Because I don't like to
the
say
slave trade.
the slave trade or the enslaved, or I do say displaced Africans, so that's what I'll say. But
so here's what happened. White men were having brown babies
yes,
with enslaved women at very high rates. And so it doesn't matter what the fifth generation child looks like. There were white men in the family line, on the paternal line. So we see European results 35% of the time on the paternal line. When you do the maternal line, we only find European results about 6% of the time. And that's because white women were not having brown babies at the same rate that white men were.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to, I think it was Tony who came to my presentation in Atlanta, who helped me with that.
Okay.
That, what do you call it? Analogy. But speaking of customers and people calling, Kelly, we're not letting Kelly off the hook. She's sitting here so nicely like, I'm not gonna have to say anything. What's the question you get a lot?
Well, I also oversee the email. So daily I go in, and most of the emails I get lately are either one of the results coming with Simone handles, but the other is I ordered my test kit. Where is it? So one, on our website, we note that it's between 3 to 5 days after your order is placed that we will get it in the mail to you. Most likely it will be earlier than that, depending upon the volume that we have. Second, a lot of people say, what's my tracking number? If you did not pay for anything beyond regular first class mail, there will be no tracking. So that means it could take 3 to 7 days with the Postal Service because it's not always consistent or predictable.
So there is an option to get a tracking number. How do they get a tracking number?
You have two options. One, you can choose priority USPS priority mail, and that's usually 2-day, and that's usually quite reasonable, around $6, $7, in addition to whatever our shipping and handling fees are. Or if you choose FedEx, please note if you are not located in the US, there will be international customs charges that we don't pay for. So if that's your choice, you in both cases do get a tracking number, and you can track the status of your package. And also, if you call in or if you email, please give us your kit number. It would save a lot of time, and we can help you a lot faster if we have your kit number when you call.
And the kit number is I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's a question I get. You can go ahead.
Okay, the kit number is on your material. So you get this, and you're supposed to keep this through the duration until you get your test kit. This is the kit ID number. So, and it's on your envelope too.
Sales order is helpful, but the kit ID is we can identify it as your kit
more quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's a question.
We cannot stress that enough.
What's Simone's question?
Well, why can't I get information about a test kit that I purchased that someone else took?
That's a good question.
That's a
Great
great
question.
question. Very good. And my response tends to be confidentiality is kind of how we function around here.
Right.
So sometimes we might give you some information if you're the test taker and you can verify info, but just because you purchase the test doesn't necessarily mean that you have access to the information, because that DNA belongs to the test taker.
Right. So we won't give a husband his wife's information.
Mm-hmm.
We won't give an aunt her nephew's information, even if we can see clearly that you've purchased the test. And that's for your benefit, because we take confidentiality very seriously. Is there another question on the thing?
No, but I do have one that Mark Ingram from the Bahamas asked earlier on today. Shout out, Mark. I got your request for the shout out.
Mark. Hey, what's up, Mark?
He was concerned that he wasn't able to afford a test. So I wrote him a message that he could split the cost with his family, because one test or results from one test apply to many people on the family. So you don't want to look at it as you can't afford it. If you can't do it yourself, think about splitting the cost with your family. My father has 11 brothers and sisters. So when you split that cost, you're not spending a lot of money at all.
And it's not just his siblings, but their kids. Like you can get your cousins in on it, your brothers and sisters in on it. Now I know somebody out there is thinking, well, you don't know my family. They aren't interested. I can't get that. I don't know your family, and you're right. But
I do have another question.
You know what? Here's what you do if your family's not interested. Sell them the results.
Yes.
Because they're going to want to know once you get the answer.
Yes.
And then if one person has to give you $20, $30, they won't tell the other ones because they're going to. Yeah, because they paid. So try that.
I have a question from Carrie Fox. Where would you say the majority of African ancestry customers descend from? And what are some of the minorities within Africa?
Minorities?
It says, what are some of the minorities? I would say, Carrie, are you saying the ethnic groups or tribes? Can you chime in the comments and let us know?
Simone can answer that. Our data analytics nerd can answer that.
So most people trace back to Cameroon, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, I think Senegal. That's the top 5. And then, it's fewer. It's fewer as you go lower.
Then we see Burkina Faso, Gabon, Ghana, but those top 5.
Angola,
Equatorial Guinea too.
Bioko Island, and typically Bioko Island and Cameroon together.
Now, why would that be? Oh, let me answer that question. So sometimes people get more than one country and more than one ethnic group. And that's because country borders are artificially and politically drawn. And so what those borders, countries are today doesn't necessarily look like what they were in the past. The other thing is that ethnic groups, for example, there are people who share ancestry with Hausa and Fulani people living in Nigeria today, or Mende and Temne people living in Sierra Leone, or Mende and Fula, Mende in Sierra Leone and the Fula in Guinea-Bissau. And so you have to remember that ethnic groups are social and cultural groupings. They're not genetic groupings. So it's almost like you have a family member. So let's say Ty is a Delta. She's a Delta. And everybody around Ty seems to be a Delta. Shout out to the AKAs in the world. Yes. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Ty's a Delta and she lives in DC. Ty could have her aunt, her mother's sister, could live in DC and be an AKA. They belong to different groups, but they have the same genetics. Or you could look at it, religion is another way. So Kelly could be non-denominational and live in Maryland, and Kelly's father could live in California and be a Baptist. They live in different places. They belong to different groups, but they share the same genetics. So that explains that.
Carrie did clarify the second part of the question. Minority populations, which is tribes. What are some of the, I guess, lesser known tribes that we find?
Tuareg.
Tuareg are in Mali.
Yeah. Yes. I actually had a Songhai.
Songhai
and Tuareg together.
Oh, wow.
In Mali. I'd never seen that.
Yes.
Well, since I've been here.
You know who is Songhai?
Nigeria.
Who's that? Elise, Kimberly Elise, the actress Kimberly Elise. She's one of the few Songhai results that we've gotten. The Kanuri in Nigeria, you said, Kelly.
Can I talk about something that I see a lot with emails, where a lot of people, because you're becoming more aware of us, want to have partnerships with us. And I ask that you could send us an email to info@africanancestry.com, but please give us as much information as you can to make it easier for our president to decide if she's able to, or how she's able to assist you. So please let us know what you want to achieve, how many can participate. Maybe if it's for children, it's for a church or something, just give us more information. A lot of people will just send an email saying, I want to do a partnership. Well, we want to help each other. So please give us a chance to be able to explore if we can do that. And also we have people who call in and they want to know about discounts. Same thing. Please give us as much information as you can for your group, for our president to be able to determine how she can help you.
I have a discount for you guys. We decided to do it
Are we ready?
just a little while ago. Motherland. If you use the code Motherland between now and the end of the day on Mother's Day, you'll get a 10% discount. But it's just for Facebook Live. So you see it here and that's it. Okay, take it down. No, I'm kidding. It's Motherland, 10% for Mother's Day. For those of you who have last minute Mother's Day gift needs. And you know what? We have another gift now too.
Yes.
For people who've traced their ancestries to Nigeria and to Cameroon, we have pendants. We have no.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
They're trying to give away the surprise. So we have an African Ancestry online community. Once you take our test, you become a member of the African Ancestry community. It lives here on Facebook. It's a private group. And so one of the things we're doing more of is giving our members exclusive access. So we have a special announcement for our members in the online community today. But back to what's available right now. Cameroon and Nigeria. We partnered with a gemologist out of New York. His name is Stephen Richardson. And he co-designed these beautiful pendants. I'm sure you can't see this one from so far away. But I guess I could come closer.
You can.
I don't want to scare the people.
You're good, right?
Okay.
There.
So this is actually a 14 karat gold one, and it's not mine. I borrowed it. Mine is silver, but it's these pendants are in silver and gold, and they have the thumbprint or fingerprint of the continent, and then the country is hand enameled in green on the Nigeria pendant and red on the Cameroon pendant. They come in two sizes. I just showed you the smaller size. There's also a larger size that the men seem to prefer, although there are women who are getting the larger size too. And they're beautiful. I mean, this is really an elegant way to wear your ancestry with pride. We walk with it every day.
Yes.
And when asked, or even when not asked, we live it.
What about the back?
Oh, Dad, Kelly, she's good with the details. Okay. So the back is embossed with the African Ancestry logo. I don't know if you can see this. And then we also will engrave it with your name and your ethnic group and your country. So it's a special first edition that we're doing for our 15th anniversary to give you a way to connect with your ancestry even more deeply. These metals, sterling silver, 14 karat gold, they're precious metals and they have healing properties. And many believe that they're a way to connect spiritually and to connect more deeply with your ancestry. So I encourage you to check those out. There's some people who've gotten two. They've gotten like one for their mom and one for their sister. And then there's one guy who will remain nameless. He upgraded his to 24 karat.
Wow.
Plus t-shirts.
Wow.
And he got t-shirts. So yeah, this is really moving people on a deep level. And we are so glad to be able to offer something else.
We have another question. But before I go to this question about the online community, if you have not taken a test, if you have not purchased a test to take, you will be declined from the community. It is for test takers and people who have already received a KIT ID number. And especially if you do not answer the questions, please do not send us an inbox and saying, when are you going to be approved? That means we have to look you up. And because you didn't do your part, we have to do our part, which means we have to look you up. So you may have to wait a little longer. So don't forget, you need to be an African ancestry test taker, or have a KID ID number to join the online community. Now with that, Arturo White has a question.
Hi, Arturo.
How have relations with African embassies or groups going for African ancestry how have relations with African embassies or groups going for African ancestry, and how has this benefited members? I think the question is, how are the relationships going?
Yeah. So we have relationships with several embassies right now. And, across the board, people are excited to partner with us, and they're excited about you finding out where specifically in Africa you come from. This test is not about a percentage. This test is not going to tell you that you're 80% African, and then that you're 20% Nigeria region, and 50% Ghana, Ivory Coast region, and then 15% Cameroon, Congo region, and then all these other regions. This isn't that test. Those tests have either 464 African samples that they're basing your ancestry on, or they have 621 samples that they're basing your ancestry on. We have over 33,000 African samples. So this is about specificity. It's not about generalizations. And so African countries want us to come home. They want us to visit. They want us to spend our dollars. They want us to invest. They want us to help with philanthropic efforts. They want us to help with education. There's so much opportunity for a win-win, not just giving, but a win-win on the continent. And so the embassies and the officials are very excited about us finding out where we're from. Now, for those of you who've traced your ancestry to Burkina Faso, there's an organization in New York City called Welcome Azaban. And it's started by a group from Burkina Faso that lives in New York. And this August, they're planning a celebration to welcome those Burkina Bay DNA descendant Burkina Bay back home. And so you all will be getting an email very soon. And that's how we communicate with you, is through email. So if you might want to call, or not call, don't call, because Todd's not here every day. Poor Kelly is so smart. No, I'm just kidding. You can call, or send us an email. Just make sure we have the correct email address for you. Because that's how we let you know about events. And so that's coming up at the beginning of August. We're planning some country receptions with embassies as well over the next several months. And next year, we're planning African ancestry family reunions in some of the countries that we find the most often. So we want to make sure we have the correct information for you, and that you open our emails. We don't send that many, so hopefully you'll open them when you see them. I think there was one other.
Let me see.
Did any of you all have any other questions?
Solomon loves dependents.
Oh, thank you, Solomon. Have you gotten one yet? You got to get one. Or are you trying to decide whether to get rose gold or yellow gold or silver?
Carat, 24 karat.
Yeah, we can upgrade you to 24 karat. Nothing but a thing. Just let us know. The code for our Mother's Day, Flash Mother's Day sale is Motherland. So if you put in Motherland, you get 10% off of one test kit. And I would suggest that you get the Matriclan test to trace your maternal line, because that's most likely going to come back with African results. I don't have anything else. Do you all have anything?
Oh, wait a minute. We do have something. Callie Reiser.
Hey, Callie. Shout out to Callie Reiser. She's a Camerican. How are you doing, Callie? In Minnesota.
Hello, Gina and Dynamite team. Can the necklace be combined, Cameroon and Nigeria, to represent both sides? Peace and blessing.
That's a great question. And so thank you, Callie. That's an excellent idea. And you're the second person who's asked for Cameroon and Nigeria. So one of the things, after Simone gets finished with the next 200 results that have to go out
Tomorrow.
I'm going to have her do some research to see which are the combinations that come up most often, because a lot of families take the maternal and the paternal. And so they have two countries and they want those represented on their new heirloom pendants by African ancestry. And so we are working on how we can get that done. Thank you for that suggestion.
Solomon asks, can you post the name of the group in New York? Can you give that name again?
Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure, don't keep me honest, but I'm pretty sure it's Welcome Azaban, Azaaban, or it might be Azab. It's Azabaan.
Okay.
And that's their website, welcomeazaban.com. But you'll definitely, if your ancestry is Burkina Faso, you'll definitely get an email from us very soon. Okay, well, I've been sitting here talking about these 200 results. I need to get us all back to work so that we can get those out to our family members. We respect that this is an exciting time as you're waiting for your ancestry results. People are anxious. People are, I appreciate all of you that have been so kind and patient. Some of your family members, it would be great if they would learn patience because it doesn't come through so nice. But we really are doing our best, working at our hardest to get quality, correct results to you in a timely manner. And so I want to thank my team, because I really did have to twist a couple arms to get them to sit down with me. Kelly, hashtag Kelly don't want to be in front of the wrong hashtag. But anyway, take care. We'll see you next Wednesday. If you're part of the fam and you're on the online community, I'm gonna be back a little bit later to give you the special announcement that we have. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.